I'm Fred McMurray, which means this must be...
Pillars, pillars, pillars of franchising. Pillars, pillars, pillars of franchising.
Hey, Sarah, how are you today?
I'm good, Kristin. How are you?
Great, thank you.
Good. I was wondering if we could talk a little bit about your process of you already have one franchise starting up and going for your second, third, fourth. How did you go into that process?
Well, part of the situation for us happened to be kind of twofold. One, after we opened our business, we literally got open and then the Great Recession hit. So we opened in 07. By 08, things were folding all around us. And I happened to have a neighbor who also had opened about 6 or 8 months after me, and the financials just were not working. This is in one way, I think, where a 401k rollover for her did not work. And some of the investments that were made were not necessary. Things could have certainly been done on a cheaper scale. And so when she came to me, she was pretty much out of money. So I acquired that business in 2008 or 2009. The second, which brought me to 3 territories, was a few years later. It was somebody that I had validated with and had suggested for that individual that he not move forward with the brand. I didn't think that it was right for his experience, his background, even kind of his personality. It just didn't seem like there was a good fit there. He went forward with it, but he remembered that I was the one person who suggested that he not do it. And again, lucky for me, he was a neighbor on another side here in Chicago. And he also came to me while he was open for a lot of mentoring and support. The challenge for them was being able to execute on those items. And so again, when it was time to sell, he came to me and said, listen, I want to give you the first opportunity. You were honest with me. You suggested that we not do it. We did it anyway. You've helped us along the way. Would you like to buy it? The final one, my fourth now, was very much the same way. When that owner started struggling, and even beforehand, I always try to be a really good neighbor and remember that while people go into business for themselves, they're not by themselves. It's so true. In a franchise community, especially in a close-knit group of people, and in Chicago we have a co-op, so it keeps us all very tight, as you know. I try to make sure if somebody reaches out or if they look like they're struggling, I reach out and just say, hey, if you need something, let me know. We can share ideas. And so when he was ready, he also came to me and said, hey, I think I'm ready. Can we have lunch? And we sat down and we talked about it. So over the last now 16 years, we've made 3 additional acquisitions. I did buy a very small territory to complete kind of this logistical geographic area very early on as well. And I will say the best thing about doing that with my neighbors and with people that you have a relationship with is that it allowed me in 2 situations to do owner financing. And those are really great ways to buy a franchise or expand your business without having to go back to the bank. So I'm sure we can talk more about that at any given point in time.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of fun. I wasn't expecting that answer. I'm like, I'm going to go help people out and be their friend and kind of mentor them. And, a benefit of that is when they don't want to do it, I get their stuff. So that's kind of interesting. Yeah. Well,
yeah, the thing is, it's all about protecting your brand, right? We talk about that as one of our pillars. It's, protecting the brand. And I think that, one person being successful doesn't make a successful brand. And so if you have a community of the same brand, a community of owners, the power of many is always more effective than the power of one. And so that's just who I am at the core. That's how I like to run my business. And I think that, in the end, it all works out, right? And so, if you come in and you're not a good business owner, if you're not a good neighbor, when opportunities come up, they may not fall in your lap. So I love my neighbors today. I loved all the people that I helped exit their businesses. They're all really good people. It just wasn't a great match for them. And in some cases, it was just really bad timing. So,
yeah, that is definitely one thing I like about working where I'm working, is that I know all the people, the owners around us, and all their people who are at their desks in their offices.
right,
Like, we know each other by first names. And it's not like, oh, you did this and that. We can talk to each other and we're kind of friendly,
yeah.
which is great. Yeah.
Well, and the great thing about that is, because you're part of a franchise system, right? You can talk about, oh, this thing didn't work in the system right, or I couldn't figure out how to transfer this customer. And you've always got somebody to reach out to. So I really like that environment. I think that in the right franchise systems, it really does grow a franchise family. So I'm happy with the choice we made, for sure.
Great. Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hey, franchise owners, how's your local marketing? Do you feel like you could use some help keeping up with your social media posts and comments and reviews? Do you wonder if you could be doing more to attract local customers? Are you able to identify new move-ins to your local area? At Westvine, we help franchisees like you reach more local customers through digital marketing. With daily monitoring, creative content, and ad placement, and customer data intelligence, we'll get your business in front of the people who want your products or services. We also work with franchisors who need an agency to handle the digital marketing for all of their locations. If you're ready to reach more local customers, give us a call at 805-265-5440 or visit us at westvine.com. That's 805-265-5440 or westvine.com.
Welcome to another episode of Pillars of Franchising. I am Kristin Selmeczy, and today with me I have Chris Raimo of the Happy Cat Hotel and Spa.
Yes, and spa.
Chris, tell me about the Happy Cat Hotel and Spa.
So the Happy Cat Hotel and Spa is a luxury boarding and grooming facility dedicated exclusively to cats and their cat enthusiast compatriots. And it all came about on the heels of another pet related business that we had back in 2007. We had been doing that for a bunch of years. It was a house call animal care service. Okay. And it was in doing that we got the feedback, whether requested or otherwise, for a need for something for people's cats, long-term, short-term, everything in between. And as true entrepreneurs, that little sliver made its way into our mind, and we couldn't get rid of it. And we developed the concept for the Happy Cat that was launched in 2014, expanded in 2017, did a second unit in 2019, and then started franchising in 2020. And that brings us to where we are now.
So are you one of those crazy cat guys?
I love cats. I love animals. I'm actually allergic to cats, Kristin. So
now that's interesting.
But I'm not allergic to success.
There you go. And that is a great point for people who are thinking like, oh, I could totally do this, but I'm allergic, right?
Yeah, it's I mean, we get into the science of it. It's probably better suited for another podcast. But the short and quick is that we're allergic to the saliva, not to the fur, and so that's why we have the spa. We're doing baths, blow dries, all that type of stuff. We're washing that FELD1 protein off of the coats, and it's getting rid of the allergies. Now, we don't do that for every cat that comes in. It's
Sure.
by appointment. It's for people who want to. But the point is that the facilities are super clean. We're cleaning constantly, disinfecting constantly, and so I, as an allergic human, can frequent our facilities and be in there working all day, and I'm not affected.
Is that on kind of a recurring revenue model then, that people would do that?
Yeah, the spa part is, now it's not required, but it is an option. And so, imagine somebody who comes in for the first time, they've never had their cat groomed, never even thought about having a cat groomed. That seems
Right.
crazy.
They do it themselves.
They do it themselves and all of that. And so, they go through with that first experience. And we have a consultation with them. We're talking them through the whole process, the approach, everything. But on the back end of it, they have a clean cat who comes out, is happy, is not stressed, so on and so forth. And they're like, wow, what a difference it's made in my house. No more hairballs, no more shedding, no more, she's not scratching the furniture. You clipped her nails. Thank you so much. And they want to come back. And so they can sign up for Spa Club. And the only rule about Spa Club is that we always talk about Spa Club. Very different from Fight Club. We don't talk about Fight Club, but that's the recurring revenue model for the spas. The hotel is more as needed. There's
Okay.
not a whole lot there. We're working on some stuff, I will say that, to bring in all of the different elements, online, retail, so on and so forth, under one roof, but we'll get there probably by the end of the year with a program for that.
Well, so when we started talking about this, I'm like, I really need to look at the website and see what these posh hotel rooms are, because it's kind of bougie, right? I mean, it's kind of one of those things where you go, wow, and it's amazing. Like, you have some rooms that look like the cat's in the mountains, and one that's like at the beach, and one's in Paris.
Yeah. So we came up with these themes. We did individual themed rooms. Every room is colored different, decorated different, furnished differently. And they're all destination locations, because the original concept was, your cat can be on vacation while you're on vacation. And every room is a destination is actually what we made the slogan. And so, yeah, we went through, we scoured the internet looking for, thematic elements that we could put into the rooms, and how can we design these, not just for look, but for functionality. You'll notice the platforms that are in there,
Yeah.
the walks, all the different climbing apparatus, the toys, water fountains. Really over the top. If you're going to do something, do it right. And yeah, so a lot of bottles of wine before naming those rooms. Catlantis, Paris, the Kitty Cabana. Yeah, we had some fun with it.
Awesome. That sounds like a ton of fun. So I used to have a cat, and she was a long hair, but I always thought the beauty of having a cat is I didn't have to board her.
Mm-hmm.
But at what point, I guess for like a long weekend, not necessarily such a big problem, right? But at what point do people not, and this was 20 years ago. So at what point now that pets have become like really, truly a part of our family, at what point, what's the length of time people look to book a hotel?
That's a great question. We see everything from a single night all the way to, we have cats right now in one of our corporate facilities that have been there for 2 years. And
2 years.
Yeah. Yep. And everything in between. And that sounds horrible. It's an unbelievably heartwarming story that it's unbelievable, but and everything in between. So we have people who have to find a place for their cats for 6 months while they're remodeling the house. We have people who need to find a place for their cats for 3 or 4 weeks because they sold their house, but they can't close on the new house, and they're living in a hotel until all of that happens, and they can't bring their cats. Vacations, military deployments. Thank you. Reasons that you would extermination. Hey, the landlord's having somebody come in to spray the house. We got to get the cat out of the house for a day. Every kind of reason. Yeah.
That's actually, those ideas are great. I wouldn't have even thought about it, but I'm the one who gets ready to leave for a week on vacation, and the night before goes, oh my God, what am I going to do with my 3 dogs?
Yeah. And I'll tell you too, a big part of it is, like you mentioned, the weekenders and things like that. But as much as your cat would be self-sufficient, staying at home alone, what if they're dependent on medication of some sort? We have 13 well, 13% of our business alone is diabetic cats. And then there's even more for other types of conditions and medications. So, I mean, if you're heading out of town, do you want your neighbor, or do you feel comfortable
Yeah.
with your neighbor coming in to do an insulin injection, that type of thing? So even a 2-3 day stay will get cats, just because we can administer the meds that a lot of people are not able to, you know. when
Yeah,
they're-
wow, that is really cool. And so let's talk a little bit about the model, and just for everyone's perspective, like when I look at this, rooms are like $75 a night, $90 a night. I mean, this is a hotel,
It is a hotel. We do not use the word boarding
right?
or kennel. It is a boutique, unique boutique concept, and we run it like a hotel. We have housekeeping service. It's their responsibility to come through and check on all of the rooms. They do the litter box cleanings. They do, you know, the tidying up. They feed the cats in the morning. They take care of it in the evening, all that kind of thing. Then we have our kitty concierge. They're the front desk. It's their responsibility to make sure that the guests and the guest owners, essentially, enthusiast parents, are happy in their environment. Where all the notes taken about the cat and the cat's care program, and, you know, do they have the webcam connectivity, like everything top to bottom. Is the cat comfortable? Are the parents comfortable? And then we have our enrichment team, and it's their responsibility to go through and engage with the cats, whether it's playtime. I mean, they can't come out of the rooms. We do it one room at a time. And so everybody else has to wait their turn. We bring one cat out. We might throw ping pong balls down the hallway, or, you know, cleaners, all that good stuff. And some cats might be older, might be unwell. And so it's just a matter of sitting with them and giving them time, petting them, playing, you know, just holding them, just being present in the room can make a big difference. And so we have a super high acclimation rate to the new environment, and it really drives the success for the entire business.
Wow, this is amazing. This is so cool. And I guess, I mean, now as you get into more and more designer animals, and mine at the time was a rag doll because of my allergies. When you invest in a lot of money in a pet, you want to find a good place for them to stay. So let's talk about what the benefit is for somebody to buy into the Happy Pet Hotel and Spa.
Sure. Number one point above all, happiness. And that sounds corny and maybe cliche, but the model is very simple. It is profitable. It can give you the time that you want back in your life. That's another reason that we started it. My wife and I were, we were 33 at the time that we began this Happy Cat endeavor, and we were looking to get out of the rat race that was our other business, which was constantly on the run, on the go. We wanted to start a family. And so we built this thing that would allow us to do that. And now we have 2 beautiful children, and it's really given us everything that we've ever wanted. We can, close the doors and head down the street to the baseball game and do the things that we want to do. And it's really changed our lives. And so a lot of our franchisees and our candidates who come into the mix are looking for that exact thing. And it's tranquility. It's all of that wrapped up into a 2,000 or 3,000 square foot footprint with 5 or 6 part-time people on your team to run that thing 365 days. Like, it is an extremely simple model that can churn out some dollars too.
So would you say this is, I mean, it sounds like it could be used as a semi-absentee ownership. Is that right?
It can get there. We do have a requirement in our FDD that the first year is owner operated at the very least. And that makes sense for a lot of reasons to people. But I got to tell you, when they get into it, when they come for discovery day, when they start building out, when they go to the other locations to see what they're doing, nobody really wants to leave anyways. A few people have come in with aspirations of being absentee, and then they realize, like, oh my gosh, I want to spend every day here.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And it's just, again, it's happiness all around.
So let's talk about somebody investing in this brand. What are the 3 things that you think are most important for them to look at when they're reviewing your FDD?
Well, so we typically start off with the item 7. So that initial investment, I mean, they can see all in right on that front cover page. All in is for us at this point, 2023, it's $398 to $878. That is a pretty wide range, but that's based on a lot of variables. Is it a 2,000 square foot unit? Is it a 4,000 square foot unit? How much construction is required? So all of that.
Right.
Of that number to the construction range is 225 to 625. So
okay, that's the bulk of it.
that's the bulk of it. Absolutely. Our franchise fee is 50, and everything else kind of falls into place. And so we go straight to item 7 because we want them to see how it's all broken out, how you get to that 398 on the low end, how you get to that 878 on the high end. And so that's something that we really spend a little bit of time with them and walk through so that they can see how it all comes together.
Awesome.
Then we go, we want them to read the whole thing. Of course, they need to go through that. They have their cooling off period, so on and so forth. But if we want to walk them through any part, I'd say the next section is going to be our item 11 on training.
Yes, tell us about that.
Yeah, support is huge for us. We are still small business owners. I can walk across the parking lot from our corporate office and be in our hotel in 30 seconds. And we live it, we breathe it, and we know how damn hard it is to be a small business owner. And that's something I'm extremely sensitive to. It's super important to me. We want to hold their hand through the entire process, the site selection, the lending, the architecture, the project management, everything right through the marketing to grand open, and then the 10 years beyond. And so we bring that all back. A big chunk of that is the training. We want them to really, have no reservations when it's time for them to open their hotels.
I think that's awesome. Let's kind of talk about just briefly within the item 7. Do you have a CRM or something that you help the franchisee manage the room occupancy and all that good stuff?
Yep, it's all in the it's all covered under the tech fee, of course. It is essentially a hotel booking software. It is the brain center for everything that they're doing. They can take their grooming appointments, their hotel appointments. They can create their wait list. They're going to have a wait list. Our goal is for them to have a wait list before they even open the door.
Nice. How do you do that?
Yeah. So as soon as we identify the construction timeline, we hold those contractors to that timeline. We build out 7 days for prep, post-construction prep, where we're getting the rooms ready. And so that tells us like 10 weeks, 11 weeks in advance, we know what our grand open date is going to be. And so we start marketing 10 weeks in advance for, hey, June 12th, we're going to have available rooms, book now for June 12th. And by the time we get there, the goal is a full hotel.
Wow. Okay. So let's talk about, that's item 11. And that sounds it really does sound great. And especially, I would assume you've got plans as you continue to grow your support teams as well, right? You've got to be able to scale as a franchisor. Yeah,
absolutely. So, currently it's a pretty even mix right now between our internal and our external team. Our internal team here, we have a saying, we call it no swazo. And it basically means no sleep until a Z opens. It's tireless work every day, 7 days, whatever we need to do. And everybody enjoys it. We're all in the same team. Like we are striving to deadlines to help these people, get their units open, and it's for them. Like they're just so excited to, be on the precipice of like, this has been a year of development, and here we are. And so it's one part then, it's one part external. Our real estate brokers, our architects, our project managers, all of that stuff is, external teams, but they're devoted to the Happy Cat projects in the Happy Cat way, and we put them together, and yeah, we'll just keep doing that over and over again and growing with the brand.
And what's your third item?
The big one, the
The
one
big
with
one.
the big ones. Yeah, it's the item 19.
Okay.
Well, item 18, item 18 is going to be one sooner than later. We're working on our spokesperson, our celebrity
Awesome.
entity, if that's Taylor Swift or maybe Bobby Flay. Those are some
Are they cat people?
Oh, big cat people, huge cat people.
Oh, wow, that's cool.
Yeah, but until we get there, we got to, public figures, we got to send them to the item 19. So the item 19, very straightforward. It has our corporate, our franchise numbers from 2022. Very strong numbers. We're extremely pleased. Our franchisees couldn't be happier. They're expanding right now. And we
Nice.
want to make sure that they understand that that's a big part of the equation. It's happiness, but profitability too, and they can see
Yeah.
it.
Well, so when you're looking, you guys offer so much in that initial package under item 11.
Mhm.
And with 7 too, kind of spells it all out, but 11, it sounds like you've got pretty much everything handled for the franchisee when they go in to buy. Are they buying a territory?
They are buying a territory, so we have a third-party development service that carves out the territories.
Yep.
They use our psychographics and our demographics from our existing units. They say this is the typical Happy Cat profile.
Yep.
How many of them are in this area surrounding Atlanta or Dallas or Fort Worth or wherever we end up going? And so they carve out the territories, and we have a few people who've done multi-units based on that territory carve out. Yeah.
Well, the nice thing to me is that I don't have to be my own general contractor. It sounds like you guys kind of help that whole process. I don't have to be my own realtor.
No, not at all. And we don't want that. That's the last thing that I think any franchisor wants their franchisees to have to worry about. Like, those are specialties. People do that every day of their life for a reason. Let's let them do that. Let's train you how to not just operate a Happy Cat, but how to live in a Happy Cat in terms of like the culture and what it is that we believe and are trying to deliver to our customers every day. And let those people do what they do. And when it comes to construction, I will say, like, that's kind of a personal piece to me. Like, that's my background. I came from construction management. And so that's my favorite. And now I'm not out there project managing on the daily, but that's where I really enjoy getting into the nitty gritty and solving construction problems and developing things to make these as successful as we possibly can. So what do you say is the average unit volume for these cat hotels? What do you see? Yeah, so again, so much of it is based on the size of the footprint, right? So a 2,000 square foot unit will get you about 20 rooms, and historically our 20 room facilities average unit volume between like up until this point 450 to 500,000. Okay, average unit for a 20 room. A lot of our franchises that are in development or under construction right now, they've seen the NOI on those 20 rooms, which is 30% plus, and they're saying to themselves, if they're netting anywhere between 165, 265, like if I go 25 rooms, 30 rooms, 32 rooms, just they're doing the math for themselves. Obviously, we can't do that for them. And so we're seeing a lot of the newer ones that are coming along in that 25 to like 30 room range. And so, we're going to expect that's going to yield 750, some of them will probably get, upwards of $1 million with the more rooms. Well, you don't really have much competition, right? I mean, I don't know that I've seen many. You won't, no. That's what makes this golden right now. I'm sure the copycats are coming. They're on their way. No pun intended, right? No pun intended. We always intend puns at the Happy Cat. It is in our DNA. If you can't pun, you can't be here. But But it's a wide open market. It's a wide open niche of the pet industry. We're here first. I think even when those competitors do come along, I mean, we're not going to rest on our laurels. It's about developing and evolving and always being the best that we possibly can. But of all the brands, so I'll give you a quick example. The Franchise Connect magazine, they do a pet industry issue every March, I believe, and they do the top 100 pet brands. Well, for 2022, there was 100 pet brands in franchising, and I counted 3 cat concepts.
Wow.
Everything else was dogs or like a pet store concept, which was a mix. There were only 3 cat concepts. We were the only cat hotel. I think the others were maybe a spa or like a grooming concept and a pet sitting concept, if I recall. So yeah, it's wide open. There are over 90 million cats in the US owned by humans. The demographics are just as powerful as the dog owning segment of the market, and like we're the only ones doing this. So it's just wide open for us.
So tell me who the ideal candidate is that's probably listening today going, wow, kind of first to market, kind of it's under a million anyway to get all in, right?
Yeah, yep, definitely under, yep. And I mean, really, we're looking for 3 main things. Like the first one is somebody, and I go back to the happiness, somebody who is looking for that in their life. That has to be the first criteria. Are you ready to change your life? 2, somebody who is willing to learn, right? This is a new concept, but we've been doing this a while, and while we don't know everything, we don't suggest that we know everything, there's a whole lot that we can offer, not just in the operation, but in business building and in culture and leadership and all of that. And so we just want people who are here and who are hungry to learn and to be better and to strive and to grow. And then obviously, team players. We just want people who see this for what it is. It's about the greater system. It's about all of my co-franchisees. We actually have a grand opening coming up in 2 weeks, and the existing franchisees and some of the candidates are making plans to come to that franchisee opening in New York in support of the franchisee. Yeah,
that's awesome. I hope you'll share some video of that. That would be great.
Yeah, the cameras will be rolling on that one for sure.
That's very cool. Well, I think this is really a great model. I'm super excited to share it with people that want to look for something new and interesting. And I love that you're first to market with this stuff. How would somebody get in touch with you or your team should they want to reach out after the show?
Yeah, the best way is through the website. We have our contact form on there. You can just fill that out quickly. We're extremely responsive. I respond to more than half of the inquiries that come in. I respond to them myself. It's one of my favorite parts of doing this, is just meeting new people.
Awesome.
And so if you go to the franchise website, it's happycatfranchising.com.
Okay.
And you can read our background and get familiar with the brand and the concept via the website, and then fill out a contact form on there, and we get back to you same day.
Wow, that's awesome. And I love that you have a way to kind of grow your employees. So there's a career path, if you will. So that's a big concern for people today, is how do you find people?
Absolutely. And I have to be completely honest, like we do not have those problems. The people who come here, they come here, I'm talking employees, they come here because it's different, it's special. They're here for a week, and it's just like the culture just permeates around them and through them. And we have people, they've been here as long as I have. And they have no intentions of going, and they started off as a housekeeper, and now they're a general manager, or they're on our franchise team. It's awesome. And we can't, jokes like we can't get rid of them if we wanted to. And everybody's a little quirky and everyone's a little kooky and, you know, it's a
Yeah.
different kind of thing, but these, you know, these are folks who don't belong in a cubicle.
Yeah.
And, you know, and they find a happy home here at the Happy Cat. We call it the Island of Misfit Toys. That's what we refer to it.
Well, okay, so us dog people would refer to you as the crazy cat people,
As the
right?
crazy
So,
cat people. Yeah, we hear it all the time, but it doesn't offend us.
hey, if it makes money, that's all
There
you're
you go.
worried about, right? And then, like you said, it's a much happier lifestyle at Happy Cat Franchising.
Yeah.
Chris, thank you so much. I cannot wait to have you on again in several months to talk about the growth that you are going to see. And Patrick McGee from MPK, if you're out there listening, he is a huge cat fan, and he's one of our friends in private equity. So hopefully he gets a hold of this as well, because I know he's got some very special kitties that would probably enjoy some of these super swanky suites at the Happy Cat Hotel.
Absolutely. They can come by anytime for a tour.
Awesome. Thank you so much. We look forward to catching up with you again soon. And all of Chris's information will also be located on the Pillars of Franchising website, should you need to go back and take a look. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you. Bye, Kristin.
50 graduates resulting in 7 new franchisees owning 8 franchise brands, more than a dozen skilled graduates who are employees of franchise companies, all of them having earned a concentration in franchising exclusively granted by the Titus Center at Palm Beach Atlantic University, plus more than 80 franchise professionals on our advisory board. The Titus Center for Franchising is on fire in West Palm Beach, Florida. What do you need to join us? My students want to hear from you. They may even want to buy your franchise or work for your company. TitusCenter.com.
Thank you for joining us on Pillars of Franchising today. I'd like to give a special shout out to Jerry Akers, Karen Kimsey Sword, Ray Pillar, Laura Liss, our franchise lawyer, Andrea Mundy, and a special thank you to Fred McMurray, our producer. This has been another episode of Pillars of Franchising. And remember, we are your resource for franchising success. Join us again next week at 4 p.m. Central Standard Time, wherever you get your podcast. Have a great week.